Hi, my name's Aaron or Irisidium, and I'm going to be talking to you for like 5 minutes-ish about warrior cats. This video will have spoilers for Lost Stars, so if you're not into that, don't watch any further. If you're here wondering why this video isn't about pet sites, I'll be uploading a video in the coming week explaining what that's all about. Okay, ready? Let's go. So, the new book of the new series, The Broken Code Lost Stars, just dropped on the 9th, and with it came 3 new mysteries to speculate on. 1. Who was the voice inside Shadowpaw's head? 2. Who was possessed Bramble Star? And 3. Are they the same cat? To start off with, I'm going to assume for the sake of argument that they're not the same cat, so let's tackle these one at a time, starting with Shadowpaw's voice. The first and most convincing theory to me is that this is the voice of Ashfur. Of course, we have the confirmation that this voice is a tomcat, so that fits. The voice also seems to be unlocked in Shadowpaw's mind by him getting struck by lightning, which feels like a fairly random choice of event for most of the suspects, except that the fire in the infamous fire scene between Ashfur and Squirrelflight was caused by lightning, and that in turn mirrors the forest fire scene in Shadowpaw's later vision. And of course, we have this quote from the voice. "Oh, of course not," the voice was mocking, "the wonderful, respected leader of ThunderClan." This shows malice and possibly even a hint of jealousy towards Bramble Star, which Ashfur obviously harboured. Along with all of this, Ashfur did not have a spirit death after he went to StarClan, so he could feasibly still show up. This voice specifically showing contempt for living cats makes me firmly believe that it will be an old character making a comeback. The other candidates for this voice are Tigerstar the First, Hawkfrost, or Sol. These theories are less solid because the only relevant factors are that they're toms, and that Tigerstar and Hawkfrost especially would also probably fall under the category of not particularly liking Bramble Star, though it would be perhaps a bit strange to go down the jealousy route with any of these three. Tigerstar and Hawkfrost also both experienced their spirit deaths, so unless we're going to see a third death layer, I don't think it will be either of these. And moving on to Bramble Star's possessor? The candidates for this one can't be narrowed down to any gender, but there are a couple of reasons why I think we can narrow down the time frame for when this cat was alive. Firstly, Bramble Star at the final gathering in the books mentions that he's pleased to see them all again. I could be reading too deep into this, but I think the implication here is that whoever is possessing him knew at least some of the cats at the gathering in life, or death in the Dark Forest potentially. Then there's this quote, in which Bramble Star snaps at Squirrelflight for always having had a soft spot for weaker cats. This comment is pretty personal, so I think, again, whoever it is must have been at least present during Squirrelflight's lifetime. This stacks up against much older Dark Forest cats like Thistleclaw or Mapleshade, if spirit dead cats are even a possibility. My first theory with any sort of material backing it up would be Hawkfrost. We see Rootpaw here talking about sensing a shadow around Bramble Star, so we can assume by this point in the book that he's already possessed. Then, around 10 pages later, he gives Bristlepaw her warrior name, Bristlefrost. It would totally be in character for him to name Ivypaw's kit after himself, after everything he put her through in Omen of the Stars. There's evidence to support this one being Tigerstar the First as well. Again, I may be reading too much into things with the following 2 points, but firstly, Bramble Star saying, "It's good to see you all again," could go so far as to even imply seeing a gathering again from this point of view, that of a leader on the tree. There is also pretty heavy emphasis put on his gleaming amber eyes in this description of him at the gathering from Shadowpaw, and though we can't reasonably expect his eyes to change colour with his possession, I think it's interesting that so much attention is paid to his eye colour, which is the same as Tigerstar's. Then, of course, are the speech patterns and behaviour. In these extracts, we see a very similar pattern of speech to Tigerstar's Machiavellian villainy, harshly stating that cats shouldn't come back to camp unless they have prey, and then, of course, the insidious suggestion that cats at the gathering should report other codebreakers, a pretty obvious nod to a certain fascist regime, similar to Tigerstar's attitudes, especially in the first arc. Now, imagining that these two entities are the same, I'd be conflicted as to who to place a bet on, but I think it's important that we take a look at the emphasis being placed on codebreakers by it/them. While I think it would follow logically to have a culprit who believed firmly in the warrior code, I don't think that that factor is a requirement for whoever this is. I think it's pretty clearly written that using the code that StarClan presides over is being used as a method to usurp power. And then, of course, we have the listed codebreakers: Twigbranch, Lionblaze, Crowfeather, Squirrelflight, Mothwing, Tree, Jayfeather, and Dovewing. So, which rule breakage do they all have in common? A fair few of them have or have had mates from outside their own clan. Twigbranch and Finleap, Lionblaze and Heathertail, if you can even count them so young, Crowfeather and Leafpool, Tree and Violetshine, Jayfeather and Half Moon, I guess, and Dovewing and Tiger Star II. However, Squirrelflight and Mothwing don't fit into this accusation, and a couple of them sound pretty far-fetched. So we might assume that it's down to heritage. Lionblaze, Squirrelflight, Jayfeather and Dovewing are all related to Firestar, a former kitty pet, as was Mothwing's mother Sasha, and Crowfeather had half-clan kits, I guess, but this doesn't really make sense either, as nowhere in the code is it stated that cats can't be from outside the clans, as Tree and Twigbranch are. And if heritage alone were an issue, why would appealing to Shadowpaw make any sense? Of course, it doesn't necessarily follow that all the codebreakers listed are being accused of the same crime, and it's maybe just that their faces were mentioned as they're the most prominent codebreakers. So, what do you all think? Are we starting to see a third layer to Tiger Star or Hawkfrost, or is Ashfur back to take his revenge? Are the two entities the same? Is it someone entirely new? I know personally I can't wait for November to find out.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I wanted to get this video out fairly quickly because Lost Stars did just come out, and I want to get in on the theory crafting and the speculation behind it, but I promise that the next Warrior Cats video I'm doing is much better scripted and is going to be a more interesting and sort of less obvious theory. I know everyone pretty much is having the same speculation at the moment, but I just wanted to go over it in this video. So make sure to subscribe and follow me on Twitter at iracidium_WC. And yeah, watch out for the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will see you in